Good evening all. So we have come back with a very interesting topic for budding entrepreneurs, young people who are willing to build companies and take the challenge and start a new journey that has a lot of risks but a lot of rewards if you have been successful. So we'll talk about challenges and enablers of startups in the Middle East. So let's start. So the first challenge that is facing startups is capital. They really feel there is no capital for them to build strong teams. There is no capital for them to buy the machines that they might need for their startups. There is no capital for them to be for marketing and sustainable marketing until they reach a break-even point. So capital is one of the first problems that are facing startups. And why capital is important? Some people say that even if you are talented, if you are a skilled person, maybe you don't need the money. You can just work by yourself and it will work. But any strong product will take time or a strong team, and this is eventually time. And in order for you to work for a long time, you would be needing some level of capital in order to support yourself and to support your life. Otherwise, your motivation will be down, and otherwise you will end up not completing your journey. Capital is like water, and startups is like a very long, stressful journey that you would need a lot of water. So you have to be wise with how you spend it, and you have to be wise on how you carry capital along the way. So this is the first challenge. The second challenge is talent. And what I mean by talent, a lot of startups in the region face does not have the ability to hire great engineers or great employees, because these employees tend to like working for big corporates, for big companies, and these companies will pay them more, and the companies will give them less working hours. So the founders or the founders found themselves in a position that they are struggling to hire talented people with the right level of skills for the startup to succeed. And this is why founders has to be really skillful, and this is why founders has really to play on different roles. So personally, I talk about myself. I started a technology company, and this technology company used a lot of coding, and I was not good in coding, but I was very good in science, I was very good in technology, I was good in marketing, I was good in business, I was good in innovation, I was good in so many aspects. But I had to hire people, and if you hire people, sometimes the result is not as you expect, sometimes the work is not as you expect, sometimes the talent caliber is not as you expect. So you should show exceptional leadership, and all of these challenges comes in the founder health. So one of the second challenge that they face is talent. The third challenge is market. And by market, I mean the size of the market. A lot of startups, when they start to think about an idea, they think about their local market, Jordan, UAE, whatever. And these markets are really small. So, and you would always face that if you have this long prospect on the market, you would end up in a stagnation phase. So you should always think global. And this is a very important thing for startups in the region. And this is not something like luxury. You have always to think global. Thinking about the global markets is a must for the success of our local startups. We can't depend on anyone around us. We can't depend on the region around us. We should always think global. And there is a lot of areas we can work on global. We can work or develop products globally, but here comes to the other challenges, which is the R&D base. The R&D base, you should really be in touch with the latest papers and with the latest scientific publications in a particular field, with the latest trend in a particular area, and that can help you to understand the new information and the new knowledge that humans are gaining. And if you are outside of this R&D base, you will always be faced with struggles in terms of protecting your idea, intellectual property. You will face some ideas on competing with the market, because if you build something and you did not build it quickly, you would find another company somewhere else doing the same. So you should always be in touch with R&D, and this is related to products. And to build superior products, you really should read a lot about the recent trends and the latest development in different from different universities in different aspects, so you can build on this and you can utilize this information in your product creation process. The fourth one is innovation. So some people tell me, what is innovation? Innovation is the same as R&D. No, a lot of information that might be coming from R&D might have zero commercial value. And I understand that this is a very challenging thing for many people, and because it is really levels of thinking, and it is really level of understanding what kind of information is helpful and how can I utilize this information, and where is the knowledge gap and where is the market gap and how I can bridge that gap. So you're always thinking about market gap, knowledge gap, new trends, and you try to mix all of these information together in let me say, in a new formula that makes a business model works. And this, I do believe it's hard, but I believe some people can have it, and they need a little bit of training. And with training, they can learn more and they can innovate more. So if you reach the stage where you peaked mentally, and this is really a very advanced stage, you would be able to innovate continuously. If you reach the stage, you would be able to innovate continuously and bring new ideas continuously. Then you are in a very strong position. The third one, I talked about mindset, and mindset is about understanding that startup is a long journey. It's about understanding that you might fail, and it's a risky business. It's not something that is, and so you should understand, if you fail, it's not a problem. It's something that you learn from, and you should really understand that a lot of success comes out of failure, and our society does not support this mindset. And some people who fail, they can't stand up again because the failure will be very strong. So you should understand that it's a risky business, but we have not many solutions but to do it, and we eventually will succeed. The more you are connected with people around you, the more you connected with other founders, the more you are connected with the community, the more the community is growing, the more we help each other, the more we can mitigate this risk. That is being said, let me now shed some light on some of the enablers. And by the enablers, I need to mean few things. And the few things are, the first thing is, you would be more successful if you have, if you read more R&D. You will be more successful if you have been into the innovation business, and if you are trying to connect with other people and you are trying to have different ideas. So these enablers, attending more conferences, attending more gatherings, being close to other founders, this is an enabler for your thought process. The capital, the allocation of capital and the availability of capital is definitely a strong enabler for this region. Also, the skilled craft, the skilled talent, having these hackathons and having these conferences and having these courses and having these online learning and develop the skills and showing people that there is a reward for that. I see some startups struggling to get a proper data scientist, and the problem with that, because they think there is no reward. Who will hire us? We are so much specialized that there is no area for us in the market. So specialization is a key, and sometimes it works. It depends on the market. Sometimes it does not work. But you have to think about specialization, and you have to think about and you have to think about it in a very good way. So that was my talk. This is about the challenges and enablers always. But if you will take one advice from this, build a very strong project and think global. You should always be thinking globally. The time where we think locally is over, and this is a must. This is not something that luxury or other people do. You should always think globally. You should always think globally, and I repeat that for the third time. Always think globally. That has been said. We'll see you tomorrow on another topic. I have another talk today. That's the end. Take care.